Remember that time SpongeBob created an evil drawing that terrorized Bikini Bottom? Or when he spent an entire day with a bubble that turned out to be alive? SpongeBob has introduced dozens of unforgettable characters who showed up once, made an impact, and then vanished. Their disappearances reveal something fascinating about how this show works. Today we're tracking down 4 iconic one-time characters, figuring out what happened to them and uncovering why they never came back. A magic pencil falls from the surface into Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob and Patrick discover whatever they draw comes to life. SpongeBob draws a crude sketch version of himself to prank Squidward. He names it DoodleBob. Bad idea. DoodleBob immediately attacks Squidward, steals the pencil, and rampages across town screaming, "Me hoi manoi!" SpongeBob erases him, but accidentally leaves his arm behind. That night, the arm crawls back, grabs the pencil, and redraws DoodleBob's body.
You Doodle! Me SpongeBob!
Then DoodleBob tries to erase SpongeBob himself. During the struggle, DoodleBob's foot gets stuck on paper. SpongeBob realizes paper is his weakness and traps him inside an empty book. The Doodle finally smiles, seemingly at peace. So what happened? He got trapped in a 2-dimensional prison. SpongeBob says DoodleBob wasn't evil, just a 2-dimensional creature lost in our 3-dimensional aquatic world, longing for a purpose. The show turned a villain into something tragic. Think about that for a moment. Most cartoons would have made DoodleBob a recurring antagonist, bringing him back every few episodes to cause trouble. But SpongeBob's creators understood something deeper. DoodleBob was never meant to be evil. He was confused, displaced, and fighting for existence in a world he didn't understand. Why didn't he return? Technically he did, but it took 16 years. In Doodle Dimension, he finally escapes. But for most of the series, he stayed trapped in that book on SpongeBob's wall, a constant reminder of what happens when you create life without thinking about the consequences. The creators understood DoodleBob worked best as a one-time visual gag. His simple design and gibberish language made him memorable, but bringing him back too soon would have ruined the mystery. The 16-year gap proved they were right. Next, Bubble Buddy. For most of the episode, you're watching SpongeBob drag around an inanimate bubble, treating it like a real person. It's Leif Erikson Day.
Hey everybody, it's Leif Erikson Day!
And nobody can celebrate with him. So SpongeBob makes a friend out of bubble soap. He takes Bubble Buddy to the Krusty Krab and orders everything for him, making Squidward remake the patties multiple times. Then he pays with bubble money that pops. At Goo Lagoon, things get dark. Bubble Buddy occupies the bathroom for 2 hours. Worst of all, when a fish named Scooter gets buried in sand, Bubble Buddy refuses to help dig him out. The tide comes in. Scooter drowns. His ghost floats to heaven saying, "Dudes, he made me experience high tide." The entire town forms an angry mob to pop Bubble Buddy. Squidward leads the charge, and then, right before the needle makes contact, Bubble Buddy's hand catches it. He's alive. He's been alive the entire time. Bubble Buddy calmly says, "Things are getting a little weird around here," gets into a bubble taxi and drives away. So what happened? He left Bikini Bottom and started a family. He returned in Season 8's Bubble Buddy Returns with a son named Shiny and lives in Bubbletown. But here's the disturbing part. Bubble Buddy might have intentionally let Scooter drown. He wasn't innocent. He was a sentient being who chose not to help someone die right in front of him. That changes everything about how we view this episode. What we thought was SpongeBob's imagination playing tricks turned out to be a real person, watching someone drown and doing nothing. Why did he leave? Because he caused too much trouble and knew it? The ending implies he's done this before in other towns. He's calm and ready to go, like he was always planning his exit strategy. He doesn't panic when the mob attacks. He doesn't beg for mercy. He just casually mentions things are getting weird and leaves. That's not the behavior of someone experiencing this for the first time. The creators kept him away for 12 years because that twist ending needed time to sink in. Bubble Buddy isn't just funny. He's genuinely unsettling when you think about his actions. Now the creepiest disappearance. The hash-slinging slasher, except he never actually existed. Mr. Krabs forces SpongeBob and Squidward to work the night shift. To entertain himself, Squidward invents a ghost story about a clumsy fry cook who cut off his own hand, replaced it with a rusty spatula, got hit by a bus, and was fired at his funeral. Now his ghost returns every Tuesday night. SpongeBob butchers the name. The sash ringing, the trash thinging. Squidward corrects him. Yes, the hash-slinging slasher. Squidward explains 3 signs of his arrival. Flickering lights, a phone ringing with nobody there, and the bus returning. SpongeBob panics. Squidward admits he made it up, but then the lights start flickering. The phone rings with silence. A bus pulls up at 3 a.m., dropping off a shadowy figure with a spatula. Both panic. Squidward confesses. SpongeBob, no matter what I've said, I've always sort of liked you.
SpongeBob, no matter what I've said, I've always sort of liked you.
SpongeBob responds, Squidward, I used your clarinet to unclog my toilet. The figure approaches. Then he speaks nervously. He's just trying to get a job as the night fry cook. He called earlier, but hung up because he was nervous. But who was flickering the lights? The camera cuts to Nosferatu from the 1922 horror film, casually flipping the switch. Everyone says, Nosferatu!
Nosferatu!
So what happened? Nothing. He was never real. He was a story Squidward invented that accidentally came true through coincidence. Why didn't he return? Because he didn't exist. The episode became legendary for this meta twist. The hash-slinging slasher exists only as a story within a story. The creators knew bringing him back would ruin the joke. The whole point is that the scariest monster turned out to be fake, which is funnier than if he'd been real. Finally, the darkest disappearance. Mr. Krabs accidentally sells SpongeBob a soda-drinking hat worth $1 million. Desperate to get it back, he pretends to be a ghost and makes up an owner named Smitty Verbenjagerman Jensen. But that person actually existed. SpongeBob finds Smitty's grave and buries the hat with him. Mr. Krabs digs it up and Smitty's skeleton rises, head detached. Hey man, that's my hat. Give it back. Mr. Krabs refuses. Smitty summons an undead army. Mr. Krabs defeats them with a swordfish skull sword and kills Smitty again. So what happened? He was already dead before the episode started. SpongeBob's line became iconic. It was his hat, Mr. Krabs. He was number one.
It was his hat, Mr. Krabs. He was number one.
Why didn't he return? Because Mr. Krabs destroyed him twice. Smitty's tombstone appears in later episodes, but the character never comes back. Here's the darkest joke. Mr. Krabs fought skeleton armies for a hat, only to discover a warehouse full of identical ones, making them worthless. The creators understood Smitty worked perfectly as a one-time ghost story. His absurdly long German name, meaningless death, and pointless resurrection are designed to be funny once and fade away. Bringing him back would have ruined the dark comedy. Here's what these disappearances reveal. SpongeBob doesn't bring characters back unless they serve a specific purpose. The creators understood that not every character needs to become recurring. DoodleBob needed 16 years before the writers found another story worth telling. Bubble Buddy's twist ending was so perfect that bringing him back too soon would have cheapened it. The hash-slinging slasher proved that sometimes the best villain never existed. Smitty was always meant to be a dark one-time joke about death and greed. Each disappearance teaches something different. DoodleBob trapped in paper is more haunting than seeing him escape every season. Bubble Buddy driving away is more mysterious than explaining his backstory. The hash-slinging slasher being fake is more clever than making him real. Smitty staying dead is darker and funnier than constant resurrections. What makes these one-time characters so memorable isn't that they disappeared. It's that their disappearances felt purposeful. Each one served their role perfectly, left an impact, and exited at the right moment. DoodleBob got trapped in art. Bubble Buddy revealed sentience and left. The hash-slinging slasher never existed except in Squidward's story. Smitty was already gone, rose from the dead, and got killed again for a worthless hat. They didn't overstay, they didn't get watered down, they showed up once, changed SpongeBob's world, and left us wondering what happened next. And maybe that's the point. Sometimes the best characters leave you wanting more because the moment they come back too often, they're no longer the character you remember. These characters disappeared because their stories were finished, and that's precisely why we still remember them decades later.